as defendant Courtney Clenney and her parents have now been charged with computer crimes after allegedly trying to illegally access the victim in this case, Christian Obumseli's laptop, before later turning the computer over to their attorneys. And according to the Obumseli family attorney, Michael Haggard, these latest allegations open up another wound for Christian's family.
And then to find out that they actually had possession illegally of his laptop. And if you look at some of these quotes of how we found anything useful to our case yet, there's no question they were, along with their attorneys, looking for evidence without communicating with the prosecutor. So it opens up yet another wound, and it won't close until they get justice and Courtney Clenney is found guilty.
And as we know, there are two sides to every story, and the defense has been very vocal about Clenney's innocence, the self-defense claim that she plans to present to this jury. So what do they have to say about these latest charges? We're going to find out right now. Very happy to have on our air with us. Joining us are the criminal defense attorneys for Courtney Clenney, Sabrina Puglisi, and Frank Prieto. So good to have you both on. Thank you for taking time out of your day to speak with us. These are some new, unique charges. We've been following the case that you all are representing Courtney Clenney in as far as the murder charge in this case, but the computer crimes charge, this is unique. Sabrina, can you talk about just what this kind of a crime means, what the statute is on what she is accused of, along with her parents?
Yeah, thank you, Julia, for having us. First, the real question in this case is really, is accessing a partner or a spouse's computer who is deceased, that you have possession of, that you have the password for, is that illegal? Because I understand what the civil lawyers are saying, but the state is not charging tampering with any kind of computer. They're charging a very obscure Florida statute that if you look at the legislative intent, you'll see it was never meant for the facts of a case like this. So this is clear-cut prosecutorial overreaching.
Frank, Sabrina just said it's not meant for this kind of case. What do we typically see in terms of this statute, and what would be the defense that may be presented for a charge like this?
Julia, thanks again for having us. And and I know you had a former colleague of mine, Ms. Pearson, on earlier. So Melba, if you're still there, haven't seen you for a while, good to see you. So the statute was the legislative history, like Sabrina said, talks about basically hacking, computer hacking crimes. For example, somebody goes into a computer to try to get personal identifying information to use later to make false credit cards or something of that nature, using a computer without authorization to break into a computer system. That's what the law was created for, not what the allegations are in that complaint. And I point out that Mr. Haggard is 100% wrong. I know he's a civil attorney, but the Clenneys in no way illegally possessed a laptop that the police had an opportunity to impound, did not, and was part of the property that was in the apartment.
I want to highlight something that's in some of these documents that were filed by the prosecution with the allegations, just so we can understand them better now that we have you all here to give us context. And it's a text message between the father of Courtney Clenney. It says, from Kim, now I know the PIN is actually a 4-digit number. Letters are not able to be entered, only numbers. Sabrina, I assume that that's referring to you, asking you, please ask for options. The following day, September 30th, 2022, at approximately 3:57 p.m., completely out of context for the messages, subject 2 wrote, hell yeah, that PIN worked. And then you have Kim saying, hold off on going through the computer, please. I don't want to turn you into a witness just yet. If you find something useful, but that is great. It makes this easy. It seems like that's between you, Sabrina, and between Kim. Is that accurate, or is that out of context? Explain what you can about what has been presented by the state.
Well, Julia, at this time, because the case is open, I don't feel comfortable discussing the facts of that here. I'm going to leave that for the courtroom. What I will point out is if you look further in those allegations in the warrant, it does show statements made by Mr. Prieto stating, make sure everything is done correctly. This is going to have to be turned over to the state attorney's office for them to review it. You'll see statements such as that, which hasn't really been highlighted. Additionally, I'll tell you another really disturbing point in this whole case is how those communications were uncovered. Because what we see is that this is a private chat between attorneys and clients. And people are not speaking about privilege and how it is completely improper for the state to have looked into these messages. And we are absolutely going to be looking into all of how that occurred, because there are certain procedures that the prosecution must abide by when they are obtaining any kind of communications that involve lawyers.
That is very interesting to bring out, Sabrina, the attorney-client privilege peg of this. Frank, I want to ask you more about what was going on in Courtney's life and her parents' life during those 4 months and what their emotional state was, what you know about that. But I do want to quickly play something from an interview Julie Grant did with Michael Haggard yesterday. He's the attorney that's representing Christian Obumseli's family. Let's take a listen to what he had to say about the Clenneys.
The defense here has played a game of trying to spin this and make Christian out to be this monster and Courtney a victim. And we see what they've been doing post her arrest, post the murder as she fled for 4 months. And now it extends, unfortunately, to the whole family. I mean, it's almost like an organized crime family that's trying to cover things up. And it's very shameful, and we applaud the prosecutors for following up on this.
Frank, we had to give you an opportunity to address that, to respond to that comment that was made here on Court TV yesterday, but also, again, those 4 months, because this was during a time that she, to my understanding, had not been charged. And if you can clarify if that's incorrect.
No, that is correct. And first of all, to respond to Mr. Haggard's comments, again, he is a civil lawyer. I'm not sure what his experience was in the criminal arena, but to allege that a family and or the attorneys, and I think he needs to tread lightly by saying that, referring to the attorneys as an organized crime family. I mean, that is absolutely ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. It's irresponsible to put that out there. And just to point out the misleading statements that Mr. Haggard is putting out there, he says, oh, Courtney fled during the time she fled for 4 months. We were in communication with the prosecution, the detectives. She was in rehab in Hawaii. We were in constant communication with the state attorney's office. There's no fleeing. They'd like to create a false narrative, and it's absolutely not true. And the evidence in the criminal case for the murder charge will show that Christian, in fact, was a pretty, let's say, a pretty damaged person.
It was a toxic relationship, no doubt. That seems obvious to those of us who have seen the videos, who've heard the recordings. Frank, I'll do a quick follow-up. There was a comment by Michael Haggard where he said, if the Clenneys have video of Christian being the aggressor, it should be released. Is there video that is different from what we have seen that has been released to the public, where it appears that Courtney is the aggressor in that moment?
There is clear-cut evidence of Christian's manipulation, physical abuse. There is, unfortunately, we don't have a video. Obviously, we still are investigating our case, but we do have the neighbor's testimony that actually came out on body-worn camera that the state is in possession of, that describes a beating, a severe beating by Christian on Courtney. And it's very violent. The description, it's not, and the neighbors that discuss her being the victim of abuse, there's plenty of evidence out there that the state and the civil attorneys don't want to put out in the media.
All right, well, Frank and Sabrina, I wish I could talk to you even longer about all these details, but we are going to be looking ahead to when this case goes to trial. If it goes to trial, I understand you all have more investigation ahead in this case. Thank you again for your time and for sharing with us.